Assalamualaikum and greeting to Dr. Zalinah binti Ahmad and everyone who watches this video. My name is Mastura binti Said. My group members consist of Muhammad Amaluddin bin Yahya, Siti Nur Nadira Jamil and also Jyoti Mala, daughter of Arul Celestia Michael. My group members and I had choose the country of Singapore to compare to Malaysia to carry out the assignment given in the subject of comparative public management.
Wishing for you, am I lucky or not, lucky or not, lucky or not?
Okay, I will explain about introduction of our assignment. Comparative public administration is when people study how different countries run their governments. They look at what each country does well and what they would do better. This helps countries learn from each other and improve their own system. People have been studying this for a long time, ever since someone named Wilson talked about it in 1884. Comparisons are used to figure out what things are better or not so good. This can be done with public administration too, to help make it better. Without comparing, we wouldn't know what needs to be improved. For example, using a line number machine can help people get faster service at government office. When we compare our government to other countries, we can learn from them, then make improvement to our own system. This helps us to understand how other country runs things and can make our own government better. By comparing and learning from others, we can make our government work better and be more efficient. The Npm system has changed and now people who make decisions about jobs have more freedom to choose what to do. They can give company to people faster. These decision makers have more power to change how things are done in their organization. This is something that is happening in Malaysia and Singapore because of the new public management Npm system. First of all, let me explain about background of Malaysia and Singapore. Malaysia comprises two regions, the Peninsula Malaysia and the state of Sabah and Sarawak. It is a multi-ethnic and multi-religious federation of 13 states and 3 federal territories. The state of East Malaysia, Sabah and Sarawak has separate immigration policies and control. For Singapore is a sunny tropical island in Southeast Asia off the southern tip of the Malay Peninsula. The city-state is 710 square kilometers and inhabited by 5 million people from our 4 major communities, which is Chinese majority, Malay, Indian and Eurasian. Fun fact about Singapore, it's a city, not just one island. It's home to the world's first night zoo. It's a city of man-made waterfall. The locals speak Singlish, not just English.
Comparison of public administration in Malaysia and Singapore. Modern Singapore was founded in the 19th century thanks to politics, trade, and man known as Sir Thomas Stamford Raffles. During this time, the British Empire was eyeing a port of call in this region to base its merchant fleet and to forestall any advances made by the Dutch. Made up of Chinese, Malay, Indian, and various other ethnicities, culture heritage is what makes Singapore a congregation of different cultures coexisting in one congenial space. Cultural heritage is an important part of Singaporeans' identity. The government in Singapore is modeled after the Westminster system. with three separate branches: the legislature, which comprise the president and parliament; the executive, which comprises a cabinet ministers and office holders, and is led by the prime minister; and the judiciary. But in Malaysia, the public sector refers to the government sector. The Malaysian public sector is divided into three levels, namely the federal, state, and local governments. The federal government established various ministries, departments, and agencies in performing in duties. Generally, Malaysia management is hierarchical with a strong emphasis on respect for authority and defenses to those in position of power. In recent years, there has been a shift towards more participatory and collaborative management styles in Malaysia, particularly in industries such as technology and finance. Public management in Malaysia include performance management, compensation reforms, public budgeting, accounting and reporting, privatization, and public-private partnership, e-government, managing ethics and accountability, local government and intergovernmental relationships. Comparative public administration is a topic that people talk about a lot when they discuss how communities one are run. So our group is comparing how Malaysia and Singapore do things. Malaysia is a country in Southeast Asia that is divided into two parts, helping the improvement of the existing public administration system and helping to understand the implementation of different. There are different rules, ways of doing things in each place. Malaysia started as a group of kingdom ruled by Malays. Later, the British.
You know what I need, not the day now, baby. Tell me if you love me enough, love me enough, love me enough. I built a house on you, I'm lucky enough, lucky enough, lucky enough.
My name is Muhammad Amaluddin Bayaya. For my part, New Public Management (NPM). New Public Management (NPM) is a method of working community company, business fund in government institution and agency on and community solution and subnational and national level. The term was introduced by academy in the United Kingdom and Australia to explain the process in the 1918 as part of attempt to make the community company more business-like, and the action is effectiveness by intelligent personal segment management models. NPN is experimenting with intelligent decapitalized company distribution product to give other regional agency more flexibility in how they deliver application or solution to the people. Some government try as industry power research to the community segment to the complete with the personal segment, especially in the United Kingdom in the healthcare. The key step in NPM, the financial control of the affordability, effectiveness, improvement, disorganization, and setting objective and constant checking facility, adding around authority to ability management as executive performance is going to be considered with audit standard and efficiency evaluation. Following the evaluation, the post led to NPM among our main obsession to pupil segment introducing NPM in Malaysia and Singapore in government is government. Government is to focus on ensuring effectiveness and cling to the implement of administration. However, financial and management discord has to lead to the improvement to community segment in accounting and management, especially as resource and product along the way for the change of the existing administration system. One, strategic agreement effective and effectiveness and success in the public segment of the place of Malaysia Singapore is vital to promise the companies provided to accomplish the goal with were collection. With the leaving on of NPM, the necessity to change must to adapted by all, even to the public segment for Malaysia and Singapore, such that the more graduated. Launching the implementation of administration. 3. Improve the existing system. NPM is motivated for people industry in Malaysia and Singapore to create the change activity and administrative technique with which our property progress had devastated the next to be restored to the take down become issue and problem to companies that people industry want to offer the typical public. That's all. Thank you.
Tell me if you love me or not, love me or not, love me or not. I'm wishing for you, am I lucky or not, lucky or not, lucky or not.
Assalamualaikum. NPM in Malaysia and Singapore. In Malaysia, central to the effort to transform Malaysian public sector is efficiency of management process and the effectiveness of resource optimization, such as economy and managerial concern lead to the reconsideration process and accounting manage role, both as a tool and product of transformation process. It is comparable to the case of the transforming public sector in other development and developing countries where accounting practice has realigned to suit the need to support the institutionalization process of the efforts. In Singapore, it's important of a Malaysian and Singapore government to work well so they can provide good service to people. They have a plan called NPM, that is stand for New Public Management, that helps them work together better. Everyone who works for the government needs to be willing to change and do things differently to make it work as well. And new public management is a like new tool that Malaysia and Singapore are using to make their government work better. It was made by smart people who did lot of research. So new public management help the government to do things more easily and make sure their service are really good. Issue that have been in Singapore, which is there are some critical factors such as the advanced level of economy development, the existence of a formal market economy, the rule of law, the advanced level of administrative infrastructure, and state efficiency for the success of new public management oriented reform. This is very to large extent Singapore that have fulfilled this condition. So the Singapore case offer a sample lesson for a low income developing country such as Bangladesh, who are struggling with their administrative reform. So in Malaysia, the issue is about a developing country that Malaysia does not prepare to standardize the government accountability, as each level of the government is an accounting entity by itself and it's subjected to different law and regulation that are being enforced, which is in IPSASB 2005. So in the Malaysian government contain the financial provision of federal constitution, there is 1957, and the Financial Produce Act 1957 that describe in the detail the financial provision with regards to the accountability and enforcement matter. That is said by Zakiyah in 2007.
As a conclusion, the experience of NPM reform initiative in 4 South and Southeast Asian countries suggests that each country part to implementing NPM practices in different due to a nature of the political history, party policy, macroeconomic considerations, state traditions, the role of IDAs and role of civil society. The political commitment and leadership seen to be the most influential factor in these 4 countries. Singapore and Malaysia can be categorized as successful cases with their reform initiative due to strong political leadership. The reform package was relatively comprehensive in these 2 countries. In the presence of dominance of the state and the momentum of economic growth, Singapore and Malaysia have implemented some aspect of reform. Strong political leadership has played a significant role in implementing radical change with less resistance from organized groups. No major initiative was taken to introduce rule-based government and necessary institutional infrastructure to support NPM practice. Where strong leadership and appropriate accountability system are not in place, could not expect successful outcome from their NPM reform agenda. Thank you.